Etheridge is going to speak to us today in our Islander Forum Professional Development Workshop Series on the topic using Camtasia, webcams, and other video media to personalize instructions. We're very happy to have him here. Please welcome.
Okay, well, thank everybody for being here. I'm going to just ask everybody quickly your name and your area of involvement, department area where you work. You're obviously the camera guy. Your name is?
Zach.
Zach, and you work with?
I'm an undergraduate media production student.
Media production student. All right, great.
Susan Murphy, English.
Great.
Vicky May, English.
Okay.
Maggie Cooper McNair.
McNair, okay.
Denise Hyde, library.
Okay. Bilal. McNair, all right.
Red Show Music.
Lindsay Landau, elite graduate program.
Okay.
Amanda Alvarez,
Distance ed, the junk instructor.
Okay.
Jason McDonough.
This is it, all right. So, how many of us are actually involved in online instruction? Okay, so some of us do that. You take classes, things like that. You just, a whole works. So, well, one of the things I'm always very aware of is that there is a level of technology out there and a sophistication level of technology out there that I don't know about. So, probably a lot of the things I'm going to do are going to seem a little old school. And so, if you know a way to do better, I'm not going to be hurt, and there are also some flaws in the things that I'm going to show you, which I'll be the first to point out. Very briefly, my topic very specifically is personalizing education. And I am talking about the online, I'm talking about the web, technology delivery environment for education, because all the stuff that we know about student success indicates that one of the key factors in students doing well in classes and one of the key factors of students being retained in higher education is relationship with instructors, relationship with faculty. And yet we have this move in higher education in general, and specifically at this university, for a lot of different reasons, to move more of our instruction into an online environment. Neither good nor bad, for whatever, I won't go to the factors, but there's a move toward it. So when you move toward the online environment, it's really easy to take out that relationship with the instructor. All you're ever really interacting with is a box. And when I first got here at TAM-UCC, seems a really long time ago, 2004. I guess it wasn't that long ago, but it just seems like a lifetime ago to me. I was asked in my first semester, would you be willing to do an online course? And I said, sure. I was fortunate in that the redoubtable Tom Murphy had already developed this course, and it was our English 3301, or Intro to Tech Writing class. So I had a template to follow, but it was a course I'd never taught before. I mean, I had taught Intro to Tech Writing, but not the way we teach it here, and it's very different in different universities. It was a course I'd never taught before, using a technology delivery program I'd never heard of. And actually there were several technology delivery programs. One was Wiki, which we didn't have in my previous institution. We did have Blackboard, but we had something called WebCT here at the time. And I will say that this university at the time did a very, very good job of giving faculty members training about Wiki, about WebCT, but didn't do a very good job of the why. Here's all this technology. Here, you know this, and it was like this Vulcan mind meld. Ooh, technology, good thing, you know. And it wasn't until about halfway through the semester that I, for my own teaching, figured out what some of this technology was for and why it would be useful in the classroom. And once I did, I understood why the university was so sold on it. But at the time, I think we had a very stable faculty that had a common set of assumptions. And I, having a career for 15 years, completely different environment came in, and it was, I joke about the Vulcan mind meld, but it really was, it was like, you know, and you walk in, and Molly Engelhardt and my first couple of years, we were just kind of looking at each other going, huddling together going, okay, and then we figured it out. I mean, and I don't mean to imply anything bad about my language, but I mentioned that specifically because there wasn't any kind of courseware platform. There wasn't any common stuff. And plus, the web was still fairly primitive back in 2004. So what I did was I emailed my students the syllabus, and I put it together online, and I did what I think a lot of us do. We had a syllabus, and you know, you go through and you do these tasks every week, and you kind of do it. And the students, predictably, didn't know where to go. They didn't read the syllabus thoroughly. I really loved this fact, because I was told, before I came here, I was told that we have a very technologically sophisticated student base. So I thought, okay, that's where I'll start. And in my face-to-face classes, this is back in '04, bear in mind, I always had 2 or 3 students who said, "What is this email of which you speak?" You know, and I became very aware that the digital divide is real, and it's in South Texas as well. So I had this phenomenon of students who either at the time didn't have email addresses or didn't register correct email addresses with the students signing up for an online course. So I didn't have their correct address, I didn't have their correct phone number, I didn't have an email address, didn't have a common online course delivery system, and yet I was supposed to give them online classes. And literally for that first semester, I would have people 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks of the course calling me up saying, "Well, when are you going to tell me anything about this online class I'm registered for?" And I mean, I literally, I would call the numbers that I had. I would send them hard letters to the addresses that I had. I would email the addresses that I had. And just actually making contacts was really hard. And I mean, it sounds almost laughable to talk about it, but until about 4 or 5 years into my teaching here, I always had a significant problem just making contact with the students that I had. So I figured out, and that problem has more or less, it is ameliorated. I won't say it solved itself, but it's gotten better, and I might have 1 or 2 students doing that, and I'm able to better get in touch with students. And one of the things that has helped is having a common courseware platform, which is Blackboard. And I'm not saying that Blackboard is great or wonderful, anything like that, but just the fact that we have a common courseware platform, and that students, whether they're in an online class or not, know that there's this platform out there. So if they can't find for me, if all my email goes to their spam and junk and things like that, they at least can log on Blackboard and say, "Oh, yeah, there's at least one way to contact the professor." So that's helped a little bit. But back to this course. So my first semester is I email them, they read the syllabus, do stuff, call me or send me email if they have trouble. And I did try to have some online office hours because WebCT had sort of a primitive chat function. And I would have online office hours, and that's one of the problems. How do you schedule it? So I would do them at like 9 o'clock on Wednesday night. And it was okay. I got decent class evaluations. I probably had about maybe a 50% completion rate in the class. But I wasn't satisfied. So clearly I've got to do something more. I got to do something to connect with these students a little bit better. So the department, I was able to get the department to get a digital camera, which is, you know, the little tape ones, you know, and you would tape something, and then you would have to download it onto your computer, and then your voice wouldn't match the movement. Yeah, but at least it was something. So I started going, so I started putting videos on my server and links into the syllabus. Okay, watch this video, and then we'll talk about it. And it was somewhat helpful, but there were a number of problems. The quality, I mean, it may not sound like a big deal, but the sound not syncing up with the movements on the video was really distracting. The files were friggin' huge, and a lot of students who were still using dial-up or relatively low-speed connections couldn't really hook into what we had available and what they had available technology-wise. Fast forward a little bit more, and we get YouTube. And does everybody know what a flip video is? If you don't, I almost brought one. They're so simple, even the PhD in English can use them. You turn them on, you take a tape, you plug them in, they download. You got a high quality MP4 video with good sound. So I said, okay, I'm going to put these, I'm going to get myself a YouTube channel. And if you're really bored, TechRite Dr. E is my YouTube handle and my YouTube channel as well. So I started putting some video up there. But I really wasn't very satisfied with what was going on with the class. And I want to sound like I'm endorsing Blackboard 9, but we finally decided, and there was a series of transitions, so we finally decided we were going to have a course management program that was going to stick around for more than a semester. And the other thing that happened is the university started providing like curriculum specialists, and they started giving some training in how I can use this stuff in my classroom. And I started thinking, because what we do in composition is very different. We write, we talk, we critique each other's writing and things like that. And it's different than maybe what goes on in a science lecture class or in a music class or things like that. So I think that's part of our problem, is figuring out how I'm going to make this stuff work in my discipline. So I'm going to show you my first attempt. And so what I did was I developed a series of things for Blackboard, and this is why you're here. This is my first attempt, and I'm going to show this to you because it's bad, okay? Bear in mind, I know how bad this is.
So again, you're your English professor. I want to show you a few basics of how to get on to your class. I apologize for the low quality of this video. Sort of low-rent YouTube quality to it. I hope you get a better screencasting program. I want you to see how to get into the class, first of all. Now, get on by getting on the university's homepage. You get a different screen than what comes up there. It's camtasia.edu. And then if you get on there, you have a series of choices. One of which is current.
I won't submit anymore. But why is this bad? I think that the way my face is, first of all, it's right up in my face. It's like, you know, I'm talking too fast because I'm really nervous and I'm trying to get everything in, you know. And sort of sitting here and trying to go here, because a lot of the things that, aside from just the personalization issues, which I think are really important, when you have students who are unfamiliar with the technology, or even if they're familiar with Blackboard 9, what am I going to be doing in my class? I wanted a way to be able to show them, you know, okay, this is what you do. And so this is what I tried to do. So I tried that, and that was okay, but then I know people sometimes feel as if some of the faculty development days, the retreats that the provost has us do, might be of limited use, but I actually got a lot out of where the guy came and he talked about using technology in big classes. And the biggest thing I got was, I said, how did you do this? What program did you use? And he said, well, I use something called Camtasia. And everybody in media got on me and say, what kind of, I mean, they literally told me, I said, how can you not know about Camtasia? You know, because that's something that they've known about for years. Well, I didn't know about Camtasia. So, I started experimenting. I'm just going to show you off my webpage some things. This is just a couple of things. And one of the things that I do is I started, I put, it's a little bit clunky to use, but eventually it will be okay. I started uploading all my videos up to YouTube and then embedding links into my WebCT, or I'm still calling it WebCT, into my Blackboard page. And there are a bunch of different ways you can do this, but this is the easiest for your students to use, because if you upload your videos straight to Blackboard, it has to download onto your student's desktop or onto their computer for them to be able to watch it. But this way, it's weird. Not to get into too big technical discussion, but anyway, so this is something that I do just a little basically about.
A quick lesson in how to log on to Blackboard so you can do your online courses. From the university's webpage, which is www.camtasia.edu, you would click on
I got to change this. I know.
Current students. And then as you roll down, you'll see information technology. The first choice on that menu is the island online. Click on that, and on the right, you see the island online login. Now your login is usually your first initial and your last name, unless you have the same first name and initial as someone else on campus, in which case there'll be a number, R. Smith 32, MRC 7, something like that. And then your password is whatever you set your password as. Now, this is the same login that you would use to get into a lab on campus, or if you were on the library. Now, if you've never used the system at all, you click on I am a new user. If you've used it once, twice, and forgotten it, you click on create your password. But you log in, your username and password. My password is HailVegas 2012. I think I'm making that one up. Anyway, so you log in,
Okay, so
and then you get into your Blackboard homepage now.
So but you see what I've done with it. I got Camtasia, and there's nothing fancy about Camtasia. It just records whatever's on your screen, and it gives you capacity to do audio.
So how do you do the little video?
So I got a webcam. I put it up on my computer, and I set it to show me. So this is just real low-rent stuff. I'm sure there's great tech ways to do this, but all I did was I shrunk my web browser a little bit, and I put the little window from my webcam open so I can be talking to the students and showing them. And I also, and this is dumb, but I will personalize whatever, like it was the end of the Christmas thing, so I put Christmas thing. It was Martin Luther King's birthday, I put a picture of MLK Day, things like that. And you'll see, it's not super exciting. I'm always afraid that I sound somnorific when I speak slowly, but on the other hand, I'm explaining things, and if I go too fast, which is the way I normally talk, a lot of people lose things. So, and I'm really white, okay? And I have problems with lighting. I just like wash out. It's gotten worse as I've gotten gray. But anyway, you see how that works anyway. So that's how to log on. I have a little thing about how, this is a little bit different. So one of the things I do when I'm trying to show people just how to do stuff on the computer is I'll do this Camtasia thing. This is how you do this thing. And I have lessons on how to log on, which obviously I've got to change. I've got lessons on how to use chat. I've got lessons on how to upload a document in Wiki. Any of the technical things that I anticipate that they'll have, I'll do beforehand. And if something comes up, it's just a matter of sitting here thinking through what I want to say, firing up Camtasia, turning on my webcam, doing a little thing. I try to keep them really short, under 3 minutes. Sometimes they go as long as 5. And then I can just, Camtasia will become an MP4 file, and I just dump it on my web page, dump it in my YouTube channel, and then put a link to it in Blackboard. So one of the things that I do are these Camtasia things that I've shown you. I'll also do, I think, just talking about instructional stuff, mini lectures, if you will.
Chuck, I'm pretty sure we talked about how English 4320 is going to run on Blackboard. And we log in Blackboard, all our work is done there. So from University's homepage, click on Outline Online, type in your user ID, which is your first initial and your last name.
Okay.
Your password. It'll say this, or you go.
Yeah, that's what I was going to show you. One of the Camtasia has this ability to zoom in, and that's just really helpful. Just so because so they can see stuff if you know, which is helpful as well. That's how to use chat. So basically, I have those things as well. On my Blackboard channel course, again, there's nothing super exciting about this, but I do a mixture of these how-tos. I'll also do the, like this is how to do a policies and procedures manual. One of the things I figured out really quickly that just my voice gets tired, so I'll just do something silly every once in a while, like here, like this.
So could you just define Camtasia?
Captain America here, substituting
Yeah, hang on a second, yeah. And you see, it's just a straightforward video where I talk about an overview of the lessons of the week. It's like what you would talk about in the preview of the first 5 minutes of class. Camtasia is just a piece of software that, is it changed, or do they get the privilege of paying $10 to download it on there?
You can still do the $10.
Okay, it's just a program that you can get from the A&M system, and I can literally show you how to use it in 3 minutes once you get it. Yeah, it's just, it's that simple. I mean, it doesn't do anything else. All it does is record what's on your screen.
But you have to have a video.
But you have to get a webcam, and the department has, I won't say a drawer full of them, but a number that are not being utilized right now. And it's just, so you just have to have Camtasia and then the webcam, and you just plug it in, and it's the simple software. All it does is record your desktop. It's all it does, yes.
So you only need the webcam if you want to include photos that aren't screen captures. Camtasia will do screen capture, so a lot of what Chuck is showing is, he's captured the screen and showing things. So you can have your voice over a screen capture and be talking about what you're showing your students. Then you don't need a camera. You need the camera if you want to take pictures off the screen, of you or something else.
Yeah, and I will also say that if you've got a Mac, most Macs have some kind of built-in camera on them. Yes, ma'am.
Our distance at our office also has like a Camtasia studio, and we have a grad student who helps you like go through it your first time. If you want to schedule a
Yeah. Absolutely. So you've got that. So I have my little talking head videos that I've got as well. And the other thing that I do in this particular class is, like, again, I always have, I sort of figured out that if I sit in the dark office now, by about the third week, I figured out how to like not wash out here,
I agree with what he's. This week is the very week in fun.
Okay, so that kind of stuff. But the other thing that you got to be figuring out, you know how on negative ads they always freeze somebody like really bad. One of the things that if you do when you upload to your YouTube channel is you can actually pick what the thumbnail is, and I would advise you to just spend a moment to pick what the thumbnail is, so you don't, so you're not like you know, like a bad pirate or something like that as well. But then the other thing that I do is now it's different for different courses. As well, but I was able to interview some experts on that particular topic, and I actually got fairly long interviews with these folks. And Camtasia does give you the ability to edit MP4 files. You can either steal them right off the line, or if you've got things that you've taped, you can break up chunks so you don't have to watch the whole interview. Like, this is a really long interview, but I wanted to, this is the director of the Food Bank of Corpus Christi. I want to talk about job placement in the nonprofit world. So she talks about that for 3 minutes. So I have found really that between using those Camtasia screenshots where I have my face talking to them while I'm showing them on the computer what to do, coupled with the talking heads, what I call the talking head sections, which is a little mini lecture that begins the beginning of, that I have at the beginning of many weeks instruction, and then the videos of the sort of guest lecturers that I have in class. I'm able to create an experience which is, I am a real presence to the students, and it's funny, they'll write me back, and I don't know why my wearing a Captain America mask was just amazing to them, but they like that, or I'll do just a little bit things. It's important to have a routine. It's really important to have a routine in an online course, but it's also important to vary it just enough from the script or from the routine so the students notice the difference, and somehow that engages them a little bit. So just between the talking heads, the Camtasia stuff, and then the guest lectures, that's how I ran my course. You can tell, and most of us do things this way. There's a couple of other things about the way I do the course as well. Because it's a writing course, it's around, bless you, this course was specifically about writing in the nonprofit world. And each week broke into units. My students, I don't allow them to see the whole thing at once. I just let them see the current week and then the next week, and then so I let them see 2 or 3 weeks at a time, because I don't want them to. Because the other problem with distance ed, of course, is a lot of students think this is the same thing as a correspondence course, and I can work at my own pace, which is not the case. They still have deadlines. They often are in peer review groups. They have to work together and stuff like that. So they have to stick to a schedule. It's a real course, just like a face-to-face course, in the sense that there are deadlines and we're moving along on a schedule. So I found that releasing only a part of the course at the time, they've still got the syllabus, so they got the overall schedule, but the actual instruction units, I only have one instruction unit at a time, really helps. You get to see the whole course. But basically, again, just having a structure, sticking with it. Week 1, you have a little bit, this is just a little bit of information what it's like. I give them a task, have them watch a video, reading, watch another video, and then have them do some kind of writing they've been learning about, and then the next week, they'll peer review, meaning they read each other's writing and critique it. They'll post the final version, they'll do more readings, etc. And I just try to keep it really visually simple and really visually linear online so that they know what they're supposed to be doing every week. And just sort of, if they do everything that they're supposed to in order, they'll do it. I had, you never know, but I had a really good completion rate, and I had good grades, and I had really good class evaluations doing this. I can't get the kind of people who sign up for a senior level writing course are kind of a self-selecting group, so I can't guarantee these methods are a panacea, but class went a lot better than it had previously, and that's really it. I'm kind of a one-trick pony, in terms of this. Just Camtasia, let the students see your face, let them hear your voice, keep regular, keep on the path, and it seems to yield some success. I will say I do keep online office hours, and that I have a certain amount of time where I'm on chat, I'm on Skype, and I'm on Twitter during these online office hours. The students never use them. They really like the idea that Dr. E is out there on Twitter somewhere listening to them. But they think it's cool, but they almost never actually use it. I may get like a random tweet, oh, I know you're not online, but I just want to say hi, you know, or things like that, and stuff like that. But they like the idea that you make yourself available to them technologically. But my experience was there was a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, and a lot of face-to-face still, because at least our students still hunger for that more direct contact, even when there's other opportunities available. Yes. I use chat, and then I got Skype, and then I've got a Twitter account, and all my handles are TechRight Dr. E, along with like my YouTube channel. So I'm not hard to find on the web, you know, as well. And
is it DR or
DRE. Yeah, I'll show you the YouTube channel. I mean, it's not anything. And again, if you're really.
Every week you have multiple YouTubes.
Yeah, I do. I'm sorry. I guess I need to sign on to my channel. But yeah, it's TechRight Dr. E. I don't even actually think the caps matter there. TechRight Dr. E. Yeah, and yeah, here are all my videos, and some of it's, you know. If you get into doing this and you have trouble, I don't want to get too much into the little technical aspects of it, but call me, you know, or talk to somebody else, because once you put a video on YouTube, there's a certain amount of delay, like a day, before you can find it on Blackboard. And that's actually not a Blackboard problem, it's the way YouTube has chosen to interact with the Blackboard software. So you have to have probably a little bit more lead time, because, you know, if you're preparing for regular face-to-face class and you have a great idea, you can just go ahead and, you know, do it. And if you have a great idea for your online class, you probably have to wait till next week to do it. So it does require a little bit more lead time. Yes, and
when you're using Camtasia, is it pretty easy to edit, or do you have to edit your...
The short answer is, yeah, it's pretty easy to edit. What you just do, it's all drag and drop stuff. And what I'll do is I'll just get my raw video and I'll drag it in, and there's a command that you do to split, and I just split. So it breaks it into just that segment I want, and I just get rid of everything else. And then you can put in titles and things like that, like most of my guest lectures, so to speak, have some kind of at least header on them. Yeah, like I'll just. Yeah, so you get a little header, who she is, what her role is, and nothing more fancy than that, but I think it's important that they know who they are and what their role is. But that's really easy to do. When I'm shooting my stuff, I just kind of shoot it and go. It's like I'm live on camera, you know, or something like that. And if I do really bad, or I stumble, you know, and what generally winds up happening is I'll stumble over myself a couple of times. I'll shoot it 2 or 3 times, and then I'll just like 3 takes or something like that, and then I'll wind up using the one that I think came out the best. But that's about it, really. I will say that if you've ever had a YouTube channel, I leave all the stuff that's me public. Like, you can go in and look at all the videos that I've uploaded there, and it's fine. But all my guest lectures, I set them to private so only my students can see them. So if you got on my YouTube channel, you wouldn't be able to see all the videos that I did that were guest lectures, those are only available to people who are in my class, who pay the tuition, but also who need the knowledge as well. And that's just, nobody asked me to do that, but it just seemed to me to be a little bit better idea that I'm posting professional details and information about someone out there. It seemed to be a better idea just to keep it contained within the universe of my class and not broadcast it for everybody. And again, if you decide to do that, when you put it on YouTube, you've got to make it public. You got to wait for Blackboard to find it, and then once Blackboard finds it, you got to go on YouTube and then reset it as private. You will not remember that unless you decide to do it. If you decide to do it, call me and I'll do that. But I just wanted to mention that one little thing, because you get into there's never been an issue, but I hope there's never going to be an issue. And I had everybody's permission when I taped them and things like that. It wasn't like I did anything under the table or had a back cam in my ring or something like that. But questions?
This was a totally online?
Totally online class.
So there was no face-to-face?
No face-to-face. Well, there was no official face-to-face. And one of the things that happens with us is I know that our administration had hoped that increasing our online education would increase the number of students that we've got. It hasn't happened, and it hasn't worked in most universities. What it's done is it shifted them around a little bit. And I always get in my online classes people from significant distance away. I had one in, I don't know, Virginia, one in New Zealand, one in, Chicago. And I would like to say it's because of my awesomeness. But what it is, it's a student who got to their last semester and they had to move away because husband or wife got a job or scholarship ran out or things like that. And they're trying to find a way to finish their degree at TAM UCC remotely. So because that always happens, I know there's some professors who require a face-to-face meeting. Well, the last from New Zealand was never going to get to my office, and I just accepted that up front. But yeah, I don't require face-to-face meetings. Some people do, and there's some real advantages to doing it that way. It's just I have chosen to go a different path. So, otras preguntas?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
We purchased the bamboo tablet, stylus. Have you ever worked with that?
Considering I don't actually know what you're talking about, no. So,
just so you can write and project it on, for whoever to see.
well, cool. I'll have to come look at that. I need to come get some more training and discover bags of toys. And my guess is there's probably other ways to do this that are more technologically sophisticated and going to look better. And that's okay. I don't mind if you tell me. I will learn from you as well. But my perspective is trying to think about it from what the student experience is and create a class that's organized, that makes sense, that's accessible. Because the challenge of online education is we're not there. And we want to give them as much support as we can, or help them find ways to get as much support as they can so they can succeed. So, because we owe them just as much as we owe our face-to-face students. So. That it? Well, Lizzie really hates to have leftover melon, so please.